What's good, boys and girls? We're here with the first results video of 3 tonight. We're starting with BKFC 16. We'll start on the prelims, go to the main card. We're going to rip through these, so get your hearing ears on. Ryan Jones defeats Eric Thompson via TKO in the second round. I don't think they'd hit the final bell of the second round, but Eric Thompson was falling all over the place throughout the fight. You could tell something was wrong with him. Reported broken hand. Either way, Ryan Jones picked up the win. Tomlinson looks very impressive, defeating Tyler Hill with a TKO in the first round. I thought this was going to be done in the first minute, but Tomlinson gave it a minute 40 before he put Tyler Hill away. Elvin Brito defeated Brad Kelly via unanimous decision in what was a really solid fight. I thought you could have given it to either guy. They gave it to Brito. Brito is one of the top-ranked BKFC fighters according to Knucklepedia's rankings, so pretty good performance on for that fighter. Then we move on to what I call the fight of the night, in my opinion, David Diaz versus Spencer Rajiri. Majority decision gave it to David Diaz. What a fight this one was. Both guys back and forth. Fast and furious action to start the fight. The fighters stood toe-to-toe and threw haymakers throughout the entire first round. It was a great fight, but in the fifth round, Rajiri did have a point deduction for throwing a back fist. I didn't even know that was legal, but I guess it is in bare-knuckle boxing. And nonetheless, David Diaz ekes out a decision win, and Beltran was hyped about it. That was a fun fight. Then in the second fight, Jason Fish defeated Adrian Miles via TKO a minute 20 seconds into round number 3. Miles was slow to get up. Didn't look like he wanted to continue. The ref decided to stop the fight, call it off. Scott O'Shaughnessy defeated Melvin Guillard, the former UFC lightweight, via TKO in the very first round. This had some controversy behind it. There was controversy there was controversy on the fact that Melvin Guillard thought he was down and that the ref should have stood him up, given him a 10-second count, and continued the fight. But the referee stood in there, waved it off. I think the referee thought because his butt never touched the floor that he was never a downed opponent, and Scott just laid leather and put Melvin away in what was of the fight. It was a good fight. Then we move on to Kaleb Harris defeating Noah Cutter. Cutter came out real hard in that very first round, but man, Cutter took some damage in the very first round, and there was a dirty cut on his face. They called the fight off. Kaleb Harris, man, he's putting together a good string of fights in bare knuckle, man. This guy always comes to fight. Then Arnold Adams, who I would argue is one of the best heavyweights in bare knuckle boxing. I think that he's the next number one contender in line, even though Sham Schumacher is next in line for real. He defeated Bobo Bannon in the very first round, right at the end of round number 1. O'Bannon really looked like he was heavier than some of his previous bouts, but he got hit with some big shots and fell to the canvas. And Adams, impressive return to the BKFC squared circle. Then we move on to the co-main event, where we see Reggie Barnett Jr., the number 3 featherweight or bantamweight, number 3 on the rankings, taking on a former WBO boxing champion who fought Floyd Mayweather when Floyd was 31-0. But this was fucking 16 years ago, so you weren't expecting the same guy then. And the corner decided to call the fight off at the end of round number 4. I don't know if it was because DeMarcus was tired of getting fucking tossed around. It's a boxing bout, but this guy's getting slammed, belly-to-belly suplexed over his shoulder by Reggie Barnett. Reggie Barnett really got in his face and did everything I think Ben Askren's going to do against Jake Paul. Good performance from Reggie Barnett. He ends up picking up the win, and a great call out of Dat and win. Reggie Barnett on the mic, when it comes to calling people out, does a fucking phenomenal job. I'm excited to see where that fight goes. And then Leonard Garcia defeats Joe Elmore via unanimous decision. 50-45s on 2 of the judges' scorecard, 49-46. So all the judges saw it pretty wide for Leonardo Garcia. But man, what a fight. These guys had some mutual respect after the fight. Before the fight, lots of fire between the two guys. There was some heat in this one. That was squashed by an amazing main event fight, and Garcia becomes the 165-pound champion. We clear up that division, and BKFC is on its way to being a legit organization in the combat sport world. But that did it for BKFC 16, an action-packed night of fights. Make sure if you guys can, go check out the highlights on Twitter, YouTube, wherever they're uploaded, because this card was definitely full of bangers. But that'll do it for me today, guys. Make sure you don't miss a thing by subscribing to Combat Sports Central, and leave a like on the video if you did enjoy, and comment who do you think had the best performance. But that'll do it for today, guys. Peace the fuck out.